Welcome to another spot of the week. Today we have a hand with pocket nines, raising in the cutoff, and we're getting 3-bet by the button. I think we have a pretty standard call. Please note that we are a bit deeper stacked here. We check, we see a small c-bet size, which is the preferred sizing on these monotone flops. And I go ahead and check raise the flop. So do you think that's standard or not? Please let me know that as well. In turn, we kind of have an interesting decision on sizing as well. I go with 3/4, get called again. River is the offsuit queen. So question is, what would you do? Do you think our hand is just a pure value shove? Would you consider betting smaller? Or would you check the river with this type of hand? Please let me know your thoughts on basically every street. I thought that I also want to put focus on my opponent having like all of the ace kings possible with the diamonds. So how are we gonna get make money versus those hands, which are quite a few combinations, and how do we also get money from hands like tens, jacks, and the overpairs without a diamond as well? So I kind of went with this sizing in game, go for a third pot, which I felt like made sense. Like it puts his tens plus in a difficult spot. And if he has a hand like ace king with a diamond, he can still bluff shove over this bet size. So I thought that this would kind of maximize value with a hand like top set. I thought shoving was maybe a bit optimistic, not really getting called by too much. But let's see what the solver suggests and what we kind of want to focus on in this spot. So we can see that he's not really supposed to be like betting range or anything here, so see kind of a low-ish c-bet frequency, and you know we can definitely see that it's leaning a lot towards betting hands with a diamond in it, so not going to be seeing too many pocket pairs without a diamond, definitely checking a lot more often, as you can see. So our check raise with the top set, so definitely the mid set is doing more check raising than the high set, so that's already kind of a big difference between my strategy in game, where I thought that nines and sevens we just kind of wanted to be check raising pure. Apparently that's not really the case. So we see that against his check raise, he's definitely just going to be only continuing hands with a diamond in it, except for the overpairs. Of course, he's going to have to call all of those that he did c-bet. So the turn is, let me quickly check, the 3 of clubs. And we definitely see that we are playing 3/4 and block as a strategy. Excuse me for that. And pocket nine seems to heavily prefer the 3/4 sizing, as well as the pocket seven. So we are pretty much pure betting nines and sevens for the bigger sizing. So that's so far so good. So again, not doing any raising for imposition. I would maybe expect to see a bit of shoving with some flushes and maybe a couple of bluffs like ace king, but apparently they're just calling. And even ace king with the king of diamonds is already starting to fold quite a bit on the turn. So river, queen of hearts, and we see that sets are pure block betting the river. So I'm actually very happy to see that my turn and river sizing definitely were appropriate, and we can kind of see that indeed against the block sizing, like all of the overpairs are definitely in a tough spot. All the tens and jacks with a diamond are kind of mixing it up on the river, and then kings and aces are more like pure calls, and then ace king is mixing in quite a bit of shoves, as well as like all of the other ace highs with the ace of diamonds, right? They're all at frequency jamming, and of course he's jamming like any flush, which makes a lot of sense. Don't think that there are any surprising bluffs there, like just flushes and hands with the ace of diamonds in it. So if he has even hands with the king of diamonds are also bluffing at frequency. So yeah, definitely what I think is important about these spots on the river. Oh, by the way, if you're interested, like, are we supposed to call it off against a shove? Like, definitely very close, right? Against a shove, it's losing less than a big blind, so it's really close with 9s and 7s there. I guess, you know, you have to be against quite an aggressive and creative opponent to be calling off a set, because as you can see that, you know, it's definitely possible that someone is over bluffing with the ace king combination, especially if he c-bets them at a very high frequency on the flop and then just ends up over bluffing the river. I think that's definitely an option. But what's most important to nail in these spots is like kind of focus on the offsuit combinations on the river. Like he's going to have ace jack, ace king, ace 10 off at a decent frequency on the river. How are we going to make money against that? Like, is it by checking and then inducing a bluff? Well, in this case, like if we check, you know, ace king might just check behind a bit too much. And we don't get any value from 10s through aces if we check, which is kind of a disaster. So that's why we definitely want to put money in the pot. And if we shove the river, well, then we obviously never going to get called by ace king, and then all pocket pairs are folding. So yeah, you kind of want to nail the good bet size with the set here, which is definitely block. And it's really not that close between all the options. As you can see, it's like just 90% block, and then, you know, roughly 10% checks, which makes sense. But yeah, I would definitely check some other hands. Like if we would maybe end up having like a queen king off with a diamond, then that's definitely a very nice hand to check the river and then call shove, right? But yeah, so I think all things considered, I'm pretty happy with this river size. If there's anything that I learned from this, is that maybe against you know, the c-bet flop, you know, sets are being played a bit more careful than I would expect it. So that's kind of what I get from this. And all in all, pretty happy with how I played this hand. The results for this one, I blocked river and got called pretty quickly by pocket 10s with a diamond. So as we could see, like all those 10s, jacks, kings, aces are being mixed on the river. So pretty likely that my opponent was, you know, not rolling a number, but just overcalling the river a bit. And therefore, I'm pretty happy with this line. So please let me know what you think, and I'll see you guys next time.